Thank you for listening to Fate Weaver. Chapter 39. Swearing Fealty. Queen's soothing voice responded, "We can't read other people's minds, Cyrus. I do not know why they are here. Why don't you ask them?" Cyrus let out a heavy, frustrated sigh. "Why are things getting so weird? We've had too bloody of a day to deal with this. I don't want to have to worry about getting shanked in the middle of the night by a couple of eunuchs." Queen replied calmly, "I have to agree with you. Let's go out there and find out what they want. If we have to kill them, then we will kill them." With determination in his eyes, Cyrus drew his deadly twin crescent blades and stepped out of his cabin, ready to confront the unexpected visitors. The moonlight cast eerie shadows on the ground, adding an air of mystery and tension to the night. As soon as the two Goliaths caught sight of Cyrus, they immediately turned and went down on one knee, their massive heads bowed in a show of respect. The sight of these imposing figures kneeling before him only served to heighten Cyrus's apprehension. Cyrus growled angrily, "What are you two buffoons doing out here at night in front of my sleeping quarters?" Keeping their heads bowed and staying on one knee, Cyrus, the first of the Goliaths, did not make eye contact as he spoke in a deep, rumbling voice. "We are yours now, Lord Cyrus, a gift from both Lord Marcus and Lord Tylan. They have said that their guards are true men, and we no longer have what it takes to stand with them." The night was still, the air heavy with tension as Cyrus tried to process this unexpected turn of events. The thought of having these two colossal warriors at his disposal was both intriguing and disconcerting. What did it all mean, and what would it entail for his future in this strange and dangerous world? The large man, his muscles bulging under the moonlit sky, seemed to lose his bearing and get choked up at this statement. Clang, the second of the Goliaths, also did not look up as he took over the speech, his deep voice trembling slightly with emotion. "We have come to humbly ask to join your service. You have gained the respect and hearts of the entire caravan with your battle prowess and continuous victories in protecting the people and the supplies. It is obvious that you will soon be an even greater man than you are now. We both humbly ask to join your service. We have come to swear fealty to you." Cyrus stood there, his crescent blade still in his hands as he tried to process the unexpected request. The wind rustled through the nearby trees, casting flickering shadows that danced around the kneeling Goliaths. It took Cyrus a moment to digest these words. Fealty was no small matter to swear. It meant that the person swearing fealty pledged their loyalty and allegiance to their chosen lord, promising to serve and protect them in any way they could. It was a bond that went beyond a simple contract, tying the person to their lord with a deep sense of honor, duty, and devotion. To break such a vow was considered a grave dishonor, and the consequences could be severe. In this world, where the strong ruled over the weak and betrayal was commonplace, having someone swear fealty to you was a powerful and rare show of commitment. Cyrus's mind raced with questions and doubts. Could he trust these two mighty warriors? Were they truly sincere in their request, or was this a ploy to get closer to him and exploit his abilities? And if he accepted their fealty, what kind of responsibilities would that place on his shoulders? As the night deepened and the shadows continued to dance around them, Cyrus knew he had a decision to make, one that could change the course of his life forever. If Cyrus were to accept the offer of fealty from the two Goliaths, he would become their lord and master. As their lord, it would be his responsibility to guide them, train them, and ensure their well-being. They would look to him for leadership, wisdom, and support in times of both peace and conflict. As a result, Cyrus's role in their lives would be one of great significance, and the bond formed between them would not be taken lightly. Accepting the fealty of these two powerful warriors would also have a significant impact on Cyrus's life. On the one hand, he would gain two fiercely loyal and skilled fighters who would be dedicated to serving and protecting him. They could prove to be invaluable allies in his quest to save his people and find the hidden treasure that could help him build an army. Their combined strength, experience, and knowledge could make a substantial difference in his journey and help him overcome the many obstacles that lay ahead. On the other hand, becoming the lord of the two Goliaths would also bring additional responsibilities and burdens. He would need to make decisions that affected not only himself, but also the lives of his loyal followers. The stakes would be higher, as his actions would now have consequences for those who had sworn their lives to him. In addition, accepting their fealty might draw unwanted attention from others, as it would be a clear indication of his growing influence and power. Cyrus considered all of this and was silent for a few long moments. "This is not a decision that I make lightly. I will think long and hard about future plans and what your presence would mean. I will spend the night in quiet contemplation and give you both my decision in the morning." With that, Cyrus turned around and went back into his cabin. All of this was truly weighing heavily on his mind. This would be a fantastic start to the army that he had decided to build. While both Curvis and Clang would never be generals in any situation, they did make for an intimidating forward guard. He kicked his boots off and fell on the bed, sore and tired. He would fall asleep quickly this night, but would sleep light just in case things were not as he was told. "Queen, can you undress me? I wish to sleep, and I sore from all the fighting today." He jested out loud, knowing that Queen did not have a physical body to help him. Queen responds, "Your phase shift ability can transfer items from the dimensional storage to your person with the use of a small amount of willpower. Although this is not an instantaneous transfer and should never be used in a combat situation." Cyrus sat up in amazement. "What? Okay, we are going to test this out." Cyrus concentrated on one of the many quilted sheets that he had in his immediate area, and watched as the minor creation ability molded the structure into a night robe. He then concentrated on the clothes he was wearing, as he felt the tickling sensation of the items turn to dust, and innately knew that they had reassembled in his dimensional storage. Unfortunately, the items phased out in their purest form, leaving all dirt, blood, sweat, and other gross substances that were able to be attached to any part of them, and it all sat on his bed. He wiped it all onto the floor and put on his new white nightclothes. He liked the color white. He may try another change soon. For now, he was comfortable and quickly fell asleep. Chapter 40. While you were sleeping. Cyrus's breaths grew deeper and more rhythmic, a sign that he was entering a peaceful slumber. His body temperature gradually decreased, as if his internal furnace was being gently extinguished for the night. Wrapped in the comforting embrace of sleep, his mind surrendered to a state of stillness, allowing Queen to awaken and take control. With a gentle stretch, Queen opened her eyes for the first time in this new environment. She gracefully rolled off the enormous feather bed, marveling at the significant improvements she had brought about in Cyrus's life. Guiding him skillfully towards their ultimate destination, she knew they were on the right path. As she took in her surroundings, she couldn't help but feel a twinge of disappointment. Although Cyrus's living conditions had improved, they were still a far cry from the opulent lifestyle she was accustomed to. Nevertheless, she reminded herself that the journey towards luxury and power was half the fun, and the challenges they overcame would make their eventual triumph all the more satisfying. Determined to bring a touch of elegance to the modest space, Queen focused her formidable abilities on one of the wagon's bare walls. Slowly, the wooden surface began to shimmer, as if it were a pool of water rippling under the touch of an invisible breeze. Before her very eyes, a magnificent gilded mirror materialized, stretching from the floor to the ceiling. The gold frame sparkled, and the flawless glass reflected the room's contents with perfect clarity. The addition of the mirror instantly transformed the wagon's interior, infusing it with a sense of grandeur that Queen found more befitting of her refined tastes. As she gazed at her reflection, she couldn't help but feel a surge of pride at her accomplishments. With each passing day they were drawing closer to their goals, and it was only a matter of time before she and Cyrus would start their real journey to claim the seat power they so rightfully deserved. The long sleep shirt that Cyrus had crafted disintegrated into fine particles of dust as it was seamlessly transferred into the dimensional storage. Standing before the mirror, Queen admired her reflection, appreciating the strong, youthful physique of the human form she now inhabited. The body held so much untapped potential, and she was genuinely thrilled to witness its development and transformation as they embarked on their journey together. Queen closed her eyes, concentrating her energy on the palm of her hand. She knew that to rally others to their cause they would need an emblem, a powerful sigil that would spark inspiration and loyalty in those who beheld it. It had to be a symbol of might and determination, one that would soon be recognized and respected far and wide. Opening her eyes, Queen lifted her hand and watched in awe as the energy she had gathered coalesced into a small, glowing orb. With a flick of her wrist, she directed the luminous sphere towards the mirror, where it expanded and traced the outline of twin crescent blades. 2 stars shimmered and danced in the reflection, their radiance casting a warm blue light throughout the room. These simple people used the white dwarf star as an eye of some great deity of protection. She made the 2 jewels as close to that sight as she could. The new sigil of Lord Cyrus etched itself into the glass, and Queen smiled with satisfaction, knowing that she had created a symbol that embodied their shared ambitions and dreams. As they embarked on their quest for power and wealth, this emblem would serve as a beacon of hope, guiding them through dark times and inspiring others to follow in their footsteps. The legend of the crossed crescent blades would soon spread across the land, heralding the rise of Cyrus as they soared towards their destiny. Now she needed the symbol for Cyrus to bear. A mysterious ring began to take shape on Cyrus's 3rd finger of his right hand. It appeared to be crafted from a dark, enigmatic metal that absorbed all light, leaving no reflections behind. The ring's flat, triangular bezel featured the emblem of the 2 crossing crescent blades, a symbolic nod to the deadly blades Cyrus was becoming known for wielding in battle. Above the interlocking blades, 2 small indentations represented his glowing eyes beneath the shadowy outline of the hood he so often wore. Queen grinned with satisfaction as she channeled a huge surge of power into the ring. She knew that if Cyrus was to assemble their army, he would require increased charisma to influence and sway others. Examining the changes she had wrought in the mirror, she saw that Cyrus now stood slightly taller, his muscles more defined and sculpted. His teeth gleamed a shade whiter and straighter, while his hair fell effortlessly into place without any need for grooming. Queen knew that when Cyrus wore the ring, he would feel a newfound sense of confidence and magnetism. He would walk with purpose and command, drawing the attention and admiration of those around him. His aura would captivate and inspire loyalty in the hearts of men and women alike, making it easier for him to rally allies to their cause. Queen could envision their growing army marching across the land, their banners adorned with the distinctive symbol of the crossed crescent blades. As they fought for power and glory, the legend of Cyrus, the Wind of Death, and his enigmatic companions. Their fame would spread far and wide, and with each new victory their forces would grow stronger, their resolve fiercer, and their legend more renowned. Next, she phased in his armor. It still gleamed with the grimace of maroon on black. With a thought, the cloth-like armor shimmered through the colors of the visible spectrum. She decided that he needed to change his appearance too, on that was more regal. He needed to look the part. The clothes still make the man after all. The reflection showed a flawless white with highlights of gold. He was still missing something. She closed her eyes once more as a knee-length cape appeared at his back, complete with golden buckles at his shoulders. Satisfied with the work she had done, she stepped outside the wagon to see the 2 men still standing guard outside the wagon. Again, they immediately fell to a knee with their heads bowed and a fist to their hearts. "I have made my decision." Cyrus drew his crescent blades. He looked down at the closest kneeled man, the larger of the 2. "Say your words." Cyrus was slightly larger and slightly more intelligent than his friend Clang. Still nothing that could ever come close to understanding any of the things that Queen had taught Cyrus, but he was not needed for his intelligence. He stood and looked at his new lord in the eyes, and spoke the words of fealty. "Under the all-seeing eye of the one true God, I do hereby renounce all former lands and titles to serve you, Lord Cyrus, the Wind of Death. I pledge my life, my strength, and my very soul to your service and the fulfillment of your noble cause. I vow to protect you, to fight for you, and to stand by your side through darkness and strife. If ever I falter, if ever I fail, let the all-seeing eye of the one true God close upon me forevermore. With this oath we bind ourselves to you, Lord Cyrus, now and for all eternity. Our loyalty is unwavering, our devotion unyielding. We stand ready to serve you completely as your sworn protectors and steadfast comrades." The other followed with the same words, and with the conclusion of their heartfelt vow, Cyrus and Clang bowed their heads in reverence, awaiting Cyrus's response and the beginning of their new lives under his command. Cyrus nodded solemnly, and with a firm yet compassionate voice, he recited his own oath of acceptance, binding himself to the two warriors before him. "I, Lord Cyrus, accept your fealty and loyalty, service and Clang. I pledge to guide, protect, and honor your service as we walk this path together. In the eyes of the one true God, I vow to lead you with wisdom and valor, and to treat you as my own kin. May our bond be strong, our unity unbreakable. Together we shall forge a legacy to be remembered throughout the ages." As Cyrus finished his oath, he extended his hand to Cyrus and Clang, sealing their fates together in the journey that lay ahead. Chapter 41. Pack It Up. Cyrus awoke the next morning, sunlight streaming through the small window of his cabin, feeling fully refreshed and energetic. The events of the previous night replayed in his mind, none seeming out of the ordinary. He was content with the progress he remembered he made in designing his impressive sigil, and graciously accepting the loyalty of Cyrus and Clang, his two new lead guardsmen. Stretching his limbs, he marveled at his new white armor that had been crafted for him. The sleek and shining design gave him a sense of strength and authority. As he stood, he couldn't help but appreciate the elegant gilded mirror that adorned one wall of his cabin, reflecting the room's warm glow. The addition of the mirror brought a touch of sophistication and style he hadn't expected in his modest quarters. Rubbing the sleep from his eyes, Cyrus set his sights on the day's first goal, speaking with Lord Marcus about compensation for his heroic efforts during the previous day's skirmishes. He knew that securing payment was essential for his future plans and the well-being of his newfound followers. With a determined stride, Cyrus stepped out of his cabin, his white armor gleaming in the morning light. He made his way through the bustling caravan, nodding politely to the workers and guards who acknowledged him with newfound respect. He ogled the stunning black sigil ring for a moment and couldn't help but feel a sense of pride swelling in his chest, knowing that he was on the path to becoming a great leader in this new world. Stepping outside, Cyrus found Clang standing tall and alert, keeping watch over the caravan, while Cyrus slept soundly atop the wagon, just as Cyrus used to do. The sun had fully risen, casting a warm golden light over the bustling camp. Cyrus approached Clang, his armor shining brilliantly under the morning sun. "Clang," he said, capturing the attention of the formidable warrior, "I have a task for you and Cyrus. I need both of you to gather everything necessary to stock our wagon and prepare the horses for an upcoming journey." Clang listened intently, nodding in understanding. Cyrus continued, "Inform the suppliers that these supplies are for me, and remind them that they should be more than grateful, considering I've saved their hides on more than one occasion." Clang's eyes gleamed with determination as he acknowledged the order. "Understood, Lord Cyrus. We'll ensure the wagon and horses are well prepared for our journey." With a satisfied nod, Cyrus watched Clang wake Cyrus from his slumber atop the wagon. The two giants sprang into action, moving swiftly and efficiently through the camp. They negotiated with suppliers, their towering presence a persuasive reminder of the protection Cyrus had provided. As they worked together, Cyrus and Clang began the day loading the wagon with provisions, water, and other essentials for their impending adventure. The horses were tended to, fitted with sturdy saddles, and checked for any signs of weariness or injury. Cyrus couldn't help but feel a sense of pride at his new guardsmen's dedication and competence, certain that they would prove invaluable allies in the days to come. Meanwhile, he strode confidently to the wagon just ahead, where Lord Marcus resided. He approached the ornate door, adorned with intricate carvings, and knocked firmly. The sound echoed through the air, catching the attention of a female warrior standing guard. She appraised Cyrus with a steely gaze before recognizing him and gesturing for him to enter. Stepping inside, Cyrus found himself in a surprisingly lavish cabin, filled with plush cushions, silk tapestries, and the rich aroma of exotic spices. In the center of this opulence sat Lord Marcus, a morbidly obese man who seemed to occupy an entire cushioned throne. "Ah, Cyrus, our savior!" Lord Marcus boomed, his voice echoing throughout the small space. "Come, sit. Tell me more about your heroic deeds yesterday." Cyrus wasted no time, diving into the tale of how he had valiantly saved the caravan from a vicious horde of bandits. As he recounted the story, his charm and persuasive words captivated Lord Marcus. As the tale concluded, Cyrus shifted the conversation towards the caravan's good fortune. "My lord, it's undeniable that without my intervention, a significant portion of your trading haul would have been lost. I believe it's only fair that I be compensated for my actions." Lord Marcus hesitated, weighing the cost of the supplies against Cyrus's heroic deeds. Sensing that the obese lord needed an extra nudge, Cyrus let his crescent blade glimmer at just the right angle, making it clear he would not take no for an answer. Cyrus had, after all, defeated a score of bandits alone, and assisted in almost every other skirmish. Lord Marcus knew well the battle prowess of Cyrus, and remembered the fact that he had castrated the last two large men that stood in his way. Swallowing hard, Lord Marcus finally relented. "Very well, Cyrus, you've earned it. The wagon, horses, and supplies are yours. We are in your debt." Cyrus couldn't help but smile, his cunning strategy proving to be a formidable asset. With the wagon, horses, and supplies secured, he was one step closer to fulfilling his ambitious plans. Next he made his way to the back of the caravan, where he would find Jarl. The large, dark-skinned man smiled as he saw his friend coming towards him. "So it is Lord Cyrus now, is it?" Cyrus smiled at the big man's toothy grin. "That is correct. And you had best mind your manners, or ill have you flogged with the other brigands in this crew." Jarl and Cyrus both laughed, and Cyrus continued, "How long before we make it into the gates of this grand city that you have spoken so highly of?" Jarl looked down the line of wagons and said, "We will be in the gates of the Golden City by this time tomorrow." Cyrus shook his head. "No, you will be in the gates of the city. I have other pressing matters that will keep me occupied for a while." Jarl nodded in understanding. "You go after your family and move on the Sauron? Is this why you have come? To tell Jarl that he has lost his bet and must come with you?" Cyrus shook his head. "No, my friend, I am not yet ready to make that journey. But when I do, I will call on you to repay what you owe. I have simply come to say goodbye to a good friend." Cyrus concentrated and phased the emerald that Jarl had wanted for the weeks that they had been together, and tossed it in his direction. Jarl's eyes widened. "You cannot give this to me. It is too much. I cannot repay this." Cyrus just looked his friend up and down. "I am not giving it to you. I am purchasing your services. I will eventually come to the Golden City, and when I do, I will need a place to stay for me and my companions." Jarl understood. "I will make sure you have whatever you need and more." He gave his friend a heartfelt salute with his fist to his chest, and bowed, just like Jarl had taught him to do. "Until we meet again, my friend." Jarl returned the salute and the bow. "Until we meet again." Cyrus turned to Miranda Wagon and saw her atop driving the horses. She looked down at him and gave him a simple nod. "Try not to get killed too fast. I would not like to think that I wasted all my effort on training you just to have your guts eaten by the first mountain wolf that you meet." Cyrus laughed. "I hope I do not disappoint you." With that, he went back to his wagon and began to double-check everything that they may need to break from the caravan. Thank you for listening to Fate Weaver by Elias T. Least. Feel free to subscribe to the channel for exclusive original works from this author. All donations and proceeds from this work go directly to him. Cash App $EliasLeast. Copyright 2023.